Hey Aries, welcome to your full moon intuitive report. My name is Dee. Welcome to CatalystEnergies. I'm so grateful that you're here. Aries, this is your intuitive report for the full moon in Leo that's happening on February 8th, 2020. And it is for Aries sun, moon, and rising specifically. So we'll go over some basic astrological aspects for Aries, where things are happening, and then look to the intuitive messages that we get from the tarot and other cards in order to give a little bit more narrow of a focus per sign, and also some extra guidance if needed to really navigate this full moon in its full power, because we're all being asked to, we're all being shown really like where in our lives we shine the most, which is what Aries is. It's about the sun within. It is about us sharing the full expression of who we are in a creative way. Absolutely. And Aries, so one thing, the reading, it's very simple for Aries. A lot of other signs have been a little convoluted and had some, but yours is really, it seems really specific. So first of all, we have your, the sun in Aquarius is in your 11th house, absolutely. So everything is kind of following your the natural rulership. So your social networks, your groups, it's very much collectivized. You show up as, the keen intellectual with the laser focus, the futurist, the innovator, the rebellion, but also the unique person that also shows up for the collective. Absolutely. And then if your 5th house is where the moon is going to be, the 5th house being how you shine, your self-expression, your playfulness. And we also have Mercury now moving into Pisces, which is the 12th house of going back to source, cultivating the spiritual, your spiritual essence within. And Aries is your 1st house, and so Chiron is here and will be here until 2026, really showcasing that very real inner wound with who you are as a person. And now that Venus has come along and is about to meet up with Chiron, she's going to give it she's going to get a voice. She's going to give us an opportunity to create something constructively, something beautiful, in order to resolve it, to give it attention, to just acknowledge that it even exists, and kind of work on some healing with it as well. Aries, Venus in Aries is definitely feisty. She's all about the potential of what we can create and what we can have and what feels good, and she's going to want to come through and really do something creative about this wound and give it a voice at the very least. And then the full moon right now for everybody is showing us where we can fully express ourselves and kind of put our heart on our sleeve without any fear and full confidence. And I think for Aries, that's really going to help with the coming to terms with this wound about who you are as a person, because who you are as a person is all potential action. The world is your oyster. Look at all the things we can create. So looking at the cards, like I said, it's very cut and dry. We have the 5 of Swords, mental defeat, absolutely. And so when we're talking about mental, and the 5 of Swords is definitely an Aquarius in the Aquarian sign. It is the first decan of Aquarius, and it has to do with defeat, mental defeat. I mean, it's pretty obvious in here, like, there's been a fight, these other people have walked away, he's collecting all the swords, he's kind of got this smirk on his face like he won. You can read it differently depending on what's going on. But Aries, there's definitely been, especially when we're talking about the 5th and 11th house, like we're talking about some mental defeats, some arguments that are happening within your social group, within your collective, or just not able to really wrap your mind around your role in your groups, in the collective as a whole. I think that there's been a really strong sense of defeat when it comes to how you see yourself, how you think about yourself within the context of your social groups, and that the Aquarian energy may not be alone, is not working. And so we really, all of us, but especially Aries, really has to tap into what makes you feel like the best version of yourself. Where is your self-expression? What is it that allows you to feel confident and royal and sovereign? Because these are all these Leo qualities. And it's about who, so the moon is going to shine. It's going to bring to the surface, it's going to illuminate what's deep within about who you are in terms of your inner sun. What makes your heart sing? Where is your joy? And this is going to be really important moving forward, Aries, because there's some significant wounding around who you are that is going to be resolved. And so Mercury is in the 12th house. Right here, the Oracle of Delphi, Aries. Now, you've had Neptune here for a while in your 12th house, so you have your natural ruler and your ruler in its natural house of the going within, the spiritual life within. And now Mercury in retrograde is going to get here. Mercury's here and is going to go retrograde, and the messages are going to be really confusing. But for Aries, it's going to be very much like you need to tap into this energy. You need to be the oracle. You need to sit above that steaming fissure, whatever's coming out of there, and let the vapors allow the visions to come to the surface, because this is where you're going to really get a true understanding how you can create a sacred space for yourself. And that's interesting too, because the panda is here as your animal guide, which is saying create a sacred space for yourself somewhere, at home or at work. You need to create an altar. You need a place where you can go and you can tap in, and that you can be this person from a very spiritual, very feeling-oriented, intuitive, psychic place. Because here's the thing, Aries, you've been trying to make sense of all of this in your mind, and you can't. You just can't. And you need to tap into what makes you feel playful, what makes your heart sing. The moon is going to bring it right up to the surface, what's been buried down there. And you want to be able to show up collectively, and there's been a way that you've been trying to intellectualize this whole time, and you can't. And this is where this has come from. This is a point where the argument with yourself is not working anymore. You really need to get into this space of the oracle, of intuiting the messages, and Mercury is really going to support this. For a lot of people, it's going to be very confusing. I think for Aries, the retrograde, yes, it could be confusing if you do not create this sacred space for yourself, whatever that is. But if you do that, and you really get into it, like, it'll just be louder. The messages will be even more loud. They may not be clear, but they will be loud. So your dream states are going to be, I'm assuming they're going to be really intense, especially when Mercury goes retrograde. I think it's already ramping up. But creating the sacred space, Aries, is going to be absolutely important, because you're talking about, with Chiron here and now Venus here, is about who you are as a person. And Venus is going to give voice to this wound. She's gonna want to nurture it and take care of it and put a salve on it. But at the same time, she's also going to want to burn it out, because she is an Aries. And so it's very much about a physical experience, which is why creating the sacred space in your home, like an actual space where you can go into this zone, is going to be really important for you to not only tap into who you are, like where your self-expression is, but it's also going to allow the healing of this very deep wound about who you are, and who you are being all about potential creation. Like there's so many possibilities with Aries in terms of who you are. You can be anything, really. That's the beauty of Aries. It's just like, I am all potential. And so what you create out of that. And, your 10th house is Capricorn, and that's just getting overhauled like crazy, like by everybody. But for you, it's really about your career and showing up as a boss and being very industrious about what you're building. And that's getting changed. It's the south node of the moon is here. So collectively, we're moving away from that, and we're getting a new concept of what that is. Everybody is, but for Aries, it's really about your career, who you came to be institutionally, like where your institutional power comes from. So Aries, create that sacred space for yourself. Take a step back. Your mind is not serving you in terms of figuring out how you can bridge this gap and heal this wound. You really need to come into the intuitive aspect of yourself. Really get into that oracle position. Let the messages come in. They're going to be loud, and find a way to worship yourself. That's Aries, seriously. I know it sounds weird, but I think that's what you need to do right now, is create a space where you can worship yourself and let the messages come in, so you can heal who you are and you can move on with your life and to do what you came here to do. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Aries. I know that this was a really, really like basic message, and it just came through so obviously and quick. So I'm sorry if it seems like you're not getting a lot of information, but I promise it's all packed in here. And my timer went off anyway, so it's perfect. I'm actually on time now. So Aries, thank you for watching. Description box below has all the details. Facebook is my hub. It tells you where I'm posting on various platforms. You can book readings right from my Facebook page, and it's a great place to connect with me in the community or one-on-one. So Aries, create that sacred space for yourself. Let the messages come in about the divine, the deeper aspect of who you are, so you can really heal who you came to be, and really interact with that potential that you carry within yourself. Thank you, Aries. Have a great full moon. I'll talk to you soon.